If somebody were to shadow you, what would they be surprised to see that you do that's not real estate related?
A lot of things. People perceive it that it's
cocktail,
working a couple hours a day.
Deals, yeah.
Yeah, deals all the time.
Uh-huh.
But it's truly a 24/7 business. There's really no logging off when there's a deal on, no matter where you are in the world, no matter what time it is to move that forward. Not just in the life of a broker in New York City. This is a $5 million asset.
There's always something to do. Thinking strategically, networking, you're
planting seeds for the future.
Right.
It's easier to be isolated, easier to be satiated by your phone. Yeah. There are literally hundreds, if not thousands, of engineers working on keeping us scrolling. I'm in a workflow, putting out a lot of fires. It might feel productive, but you're just being reactive.
Yeah.
Curating monthly dinners, bringing together interesting people, undisclosed washing machine, hours of conversations with lawyers around the existence of a washing machine,
washer dryer. Washer dryer had been put in unknowingly or illegally. The board was asking to be removed. What do we do to find balance in our lives for a role that requires 24/7 attention?
We're back with episode 4 of I remember now. Somewhere in New York. I'm Taylor Durland alongside Joseph Pullen.
Joseph Pullen, hello.
Oh, thanks for confirming.
I don't know. I just wanted to say my name.
Yeah. Loves to hear himself talk.
Poor
This would be a great episode because it's all about you. No, us.
Go on.
And what a week looks like. Not just in the life of a broker in New York City, but also just us as humans.
Yeah.
We've talked a little bit before about how this world is very different than the life of a corporate warrior.
Mm-hmm. And how people perceive.
it, right?
Mm-hmm.
That it's
cocktails, fashion.
and just, working a couple hours a day.
Deals,
Yeah, deals all the time. Uh-huh. And there's a lot that happens.
And Blade.
Always Blade. But it's truly a 24/7 business.
Yeah.
And
it really is.
Because of that, you have to weave your life into it. It's very hard to say, 6 p.m. on a Friday, time to
shut it down.
Time to log off.
Yeah.
There's really no logging off. And part of that is because the nature of a deal, when people who work in investment banking or other sales focused industries will understand this, maybe to a lesser extent, is like when there's a deal on and that's your livelihood, then you're going to do everything possible, no matter where you are in the world, no matter what time it is, to move that forward.
It's shepherding a deal.
Yeah.
And I think I'm just going to interject here because it's part of what you're saying, and it's so spot on, is that when you have a deal in play or multiple deals, whatever, it requires really shepherding and juggling a lot of entities, right? So to really, you don't just negotiate and then, you've got a deal that's moving forward on its own momentum. You are pushing forward and representing your clients, whether you're on the buy or the sell side, and really shepherding that deal to the closing table for representing your client's best interests. Yeah. And there's so many steps in that process. Part of what we want to talk about is, two things, something that you brought up, because it's also not just when there's a deal at play. I mean, our business is 24/7. Gray off, will ask me, or somebody says, are you busy today? But there's always something to do in our business, right? Mm-hmm. Even if you don't have any deals in the hopper, there's still stuff that we are doing or should be doing to kind of keep things moving forward.
We were talking about this the other day. Being self-starters. When you're in a large organization, maybe you have a bad day, you're sick, you're not feeling it, you sign off and you don't do anything. Everything keeps moving. It's a big machine. You keep going. Now, there are plenty of brokers who have large teams, and to some extent they can pick up the slack.
Delegate.
It's nice to have a partner in that sense when someone is sick or whatever, but generally it's you.
Yeah.
It's you.
And even if you have a large team, there's still always something to do. You're thinking strategically, you're networking, you may not be doing board packages or purchase applications, right? But there's always something to do, no matter your level.
And the time when you do have some downtime between deals, or there's nothing that's on fire immediately, that is the time to be proactive and to be planting seeds for the future.
Right. Right.
And I think that can often be the hardest thing to do, because when you are busy, there's this perception of, oh, life is good.
Right.
Things are happening.
Right. Right. And you're very good about pushing us forward.
Yeah, because you never know where the next thing is going to
That's
come
right.
from.
You're right.
Even the
Right.
top brokers.
Yep.
Like,
Yeah.
even those who are working strictly on referral, you still have to be nurturing
Yep.
those relationships,
Yeah.
because if you're not, you're going to fall off the map.
Yeah. Yeah. You got to keep yourself front of mind because there is so much competition, right? And so, you want people to think of you, whether it's their own deal or whether it's a cousin who's looking to buy or a friend who's relocating from London.
The most efficient is when you're cultivating a relationship with someone who can be a great referral source,
Right.
because it's one to many.
Right.
That's more efficient than going one to one, right? That transaction,
Right.
if it's a buy or sale, maybe something comes up every 5 years, maybe.
Yeah.
On either side, maybe more. New Yorkers move more quickly than other people.
Sure.
But that's a big piece of it.
This topic is what we're going to talk about was like, what do we do in between, right? What do we do to find balance in our lives for a role that requires 24/7 attention, whether you're doing a deal or not? Because the reality is we are always, and I think if you're a good broker worth his or her, whatever, you really are always thinking about the business. Right? And whether it's now or the future, right? Or the pipeline. So, but what do you do to kind of have more balance and have more of a life? If somebody were to shadow you, what would they be surprised to see that you do that's not real estate related?
A lot of things.
For instance,
you mentioned it earlier.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a health and wellness
guy.
Snooze fest.
Okay, what else?
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding.
It keeps me healthy and both mentally and physically, maybe even more so mentally. It's kind of that release, that one time during the day where I can go somewhere else, and that's really important to me. But I come back to this idea of curiosity. There are lots of brokers out there. My curiosity in things outside of real estate, especially if they're tangentially related, design, construction, that curiosity makes me better at what I do and more valuable. And also just people like doing business with people they like, who are interesting and worldly and have something interesting to say.
Especially in New York City. Right.
So if you're just sitting at home thinking about what to tweet out about real estate, like that's not going to do it. In fact, that's probably going to have the opposite effect.
Yeah.
Because people want to know if they're talking to you, especially if they're talking to us, we've probably already crossed a certain threshold of competency. Typically we've been referred, that's generally how our business comes in.
This is true.
So after that, you're doing two things. You're trying to form a connection and nurture that relationship, and then also sprinkle things of value about a potential transaction, whether it's a sale or a buy, but they want to know you and who you are. Yeah. So, my curiosity takes me towards basically down to try anything once, at least in my life. That's kind of a rule that I live by. Anything, fitness or wellness related. I'm a bit of an adrenaline junkie. I've gone skydiving and bungee jumping. Maybe those are things you don't know.
I didn't know.
Yeah.
No, who are you?
So a day might see me answering emails, obviously, maybe calls with clients, going to the gym, taking a Portuguese lesson.
All right.
Maybe filming some content to push out on social media, curating monthly dinners, which I like doing, bringing together interesting people that might not have otherwise crossed paths.
Yeah.
That's something that I love doing.
Yeah.
I'm very good at it.
Yeah, you are.
Being a curator of a room and a connector.
Yeah.
And that's something that brings a lot of value to people's life that has nothing to do with real estate.
Right.
But being that connector and that steward of connection, which is something particularly now people have such a high appetite for.
Right.
Is a differentiator.
And you say, especially now, why? Because coming off on the heels of pandemic and where the culture has changed so dramatically and people are more isolated.
Yeah. It's easier to be isolated.
Siloed. Yeah.
It's easier to be satiated by your phone.
Right.
It's seductive. I mean, who wouldn't want to just sit
Social
at
media.
home? Yeah. I mean, there are literally hundreds, if not thousands of engineers working on keeping us scrolling. Versus our feeble brain trying to resist. It's funny when you think about it that way. And I say that, obviously in jest, but it does take a lot of work to get out and get out there, because it's so easy not to.
And you have been very good in terms of helping to pull these and leading the charge even on some of these events that we've put together, and I love that, because I also, to me, like the idea of a salon, of bringing people from with various interests together and interacting and having great conversation and just interacting with different people is really thrilling. And it speaks to what New York City is about, this melting pot, right? So we bring people together from different sectors, whether it's finance or the arts and et cetera, science, or none of the above, together for conversation, for interaction, for exchange. That's of value to both of us.
Yeah. I think when people are putting an event together that might have a business purpose, it's almost always over-engineered to drive them towards, let's have a conversation about me being the curator of that event.
Right.
And I don't think people want that.
It's forced.
It's forced.
Disingenuous.
And I think if you're good at what you do, you will shine regardless. And you have to promote yourself and sell yourself. Right. I'm not saying that you shouldn't do that, because you have to. And that's one of the things that took some time for me to get over. That self-promotion. No one else is going to do it. You've got
I see. Yeah.
But you have to do it in your own way, because if you don't, it's not going to feel authentic. And especially in New York, people smell that from a mile away.
Yeah. Well, I mean, listen, there's some people who do it and it is completely kind of self-serving or like self-promotional. So, I mean, that could be there as well.
And I respect that if they're just very, if that's just who
they're
they are,
honest about it. Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah,
Let that be your thing.
Yeah. I think one of the things about you and I or you and me, what would Brooke say?
Oh, boy. Brooke.
Yeah, Brooke. Is Brooke listening?
I don't know. Maybe not after this comment.
Right.
My mother, who always corrects my grammar,
is his mother, Brooke. Yeah.
Can't let a sentence go by without a.
I like that though, but I actually forget sometimes, and I was thinking about you when I said that. Anyway, I lost my thought. Right, I totally lost my thought.
I want to know about you. I shared a little bit about what a day in the life is like for me. Some language lessons, some work sprinkled throughout. There are plenty of times where I've stopped in the middle of what I'm doing and taken an hour to finish something and do something that's very urgent. A deal's happening.
Your workflow.
My work.
I'm in a workflow.
Sometimes Joseph will call and I'll be like, I'm in a workflow. I can't talk.
And I'm very needy.
Talking. I know you're very needy. Yeah. And it's because it's hard in our business when there's so many fires happening all the time to have some uninterrupted time.
Yeah. And you're disciplined. You have that discipline to focus.
I try to, because that's when I really move the ball forward. And I think when we are in a certain day, when we're putting out a lot of fires, it might feel productive. I think we might have the illusion of like,
but you're just reacting.
But you're just being reactive.
Yeah.
And so when possible, it's not always possible. Sometimes you have to be reactive, but that's okay. Yeah. When possible, I'm in a workflow. That's what he says. Like computer, like, you know what I mean? Like I'm kind of in it.
Yeah. When I call and you don't answer.
Sometimes I have to, step away from the bench to go into workflow.
Yeah.
If something's really popping off.
Joseph, is it urgent? Yes.
Yeah, exactly. That's my other favorite line.
With a deal falling apart, going south.
Exactly.
Happened.
Which happens.
Yeah, it happened. And it happened for us this year. A deal unexpectedly.
Yeah.
And in a place where, this harks back to something we were talking about earlier, but where you have a certain confidence that things are moving forward, and you're surprised by like some glitch, and to no fault of your own, you know what I mean?
Undisclosed washing machine.
Oh my God, I forgot about that. Yeah.
When people hear these stories, I don't know if pedantic is the right word, but it feels like, wow, you're in hours of conversations with lawyers
Yeah.
and brokers and clients around the existence of a washer
machine, washer dryer. Yeah.
and whether who knew what when.
Yeah.
But if you think about it, this is in this case, a $5 million asset.
Yeah.
They want what they want.
Well, I mean, really quickly to our 2, possibly 3 listeners at this point, is we had a deal. We were representing the buyers, and there was a listing that we were moving forward on. Were we in contract? I think we were. We were at this point. We were in contract, and the listing had a washer dryer in it, and the assumption was that the washer dryer
was approved, was above board.
Yeah, had been approved by the board, and that it was
many co-ops in New York have these
rules,
specific rules around,
sometimes they're grandfathered in. Yeah, but when you see a washer dryer in a unit, and this to our point earlier, you're always learning something. When you see a washer dryer in a listing, and especially if it's advertised, the assumption is that it's there legitimately, and so it turns out this washer dryer had been put in unknowingly or illegally. And so the board was asking that before our buyers closed, that the washer dryer be removed. Now, our buyers it was a pretty big apartment, penthouse. They were going to put a lot of work into it, but they also had 2 young kids, and what family doesn't use a washer dryer, right? For, it's pretty very much in use. So it became a really big deal, navigating that and kind of, getting through that.
And who you're working with matters.
Yes.
We were opposite.
On the sell side.
One of the best brokers in New York.
Lovely.
So pleasant and just such a pleasure to work with. And
integrity.
The highest integrity. And that, that matters. It's one of the emotions that's part of the stew.
Yeah.
That's
who's on the other side of the deal makes a world of difference.
And their relationship with that client, that's such a big part of it.
Yeah.
That's such a big part of it.
And that just speaks to, because, so many, again, going back to so many facets of a deal that are, so many people we're interacting with, right?
Yeah.
So to get back to the original topic,
is
I don't do any of what you do. You're much more interesting.
Get up.
Certainly not a health
Start with a milkshake.
One of those Starbucks big drinks with whipped cream, which is
venti frappuccino.
With extra
with cookie crumbles.
No, that's not me. But as Taylor, and this is for our listeners, this is an ongoing joke between us, because Taylor is much more health oriented than I am. And I go to the gym now recently, and I just still don't. Here you asked me, so are you liking it? I was like, no, I still dread it. I can't wait till that hour's up, because I work out with a trainer, and it doesn't excite me. Yeah. So I have to which is why I have a trainer, because I need that appointment. I need that somebody to kind of keep me honest in that sense. I mean, what do I do to relax? I get thrilled by New York City. I'm being out there, and you know what? With my dog, as you know, we're dog people, and just kind of it's opportunity for me to breathe, to take in street scenes, to reinvigorate, and also get out of the city. We are fortunate enough that we do have a place a retreat, right? And so
upstate in the Hudson Valley.
Those are the things that kind of rejuvenate me. And also I think something else is like just being interested in things. We both you and I both draw from a multitude of arenas, and we're both a very much curious people. So, and that's something that fuels me.
We talk a lot about the music scene in New York, because music has always been a big part of your life. And I love music. I've DJ'd before. It just brings me a lot of joy. And so I do think, while I am very health and wellness focused, I also have balance. I love, there's some amazing parties deep in Brooklyn that have incredible, underground house music that I love.
We've talked
that's
about
a part of my life too.
And
I love that. And I think that's balance.
That's
balance. Music, togetherness. There's something about when you're in that experience, you're like putting your head in the speaker and everyone's enjoying the same beat and kind of moving together.
Yeah.
That feels
I can't
very,
relate to that, but go on.
yeah.
Yeah.
You were young once.
Yeah. No, but you know what it is? It's like the togetherness. Somebody said to me, a good friend who will perhaps hear this said, you were the most introverted extrovert I've ever met.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So I can, I love being home.
Yeah.
Right. But we do our thing. And, certainly Ray and I would do our thing and have a social life.
Sure.
But I do love being home and like unwinding. And those are the moments that I use to kind of decompress. Yeah. Even though we're still thinking about business.
Still thinking about the business.
Yeah.
Never not thinking about it.
Yeah.
Well, that's a great place to wrap up episode 4.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Already there. Of Somewhere in New York. I'm Taylor Durland. What's your name again?
Joseph Pullen.
There we go. We'll see you next time.